Hello, hello, hello. D5 Render has come out with an update where they introduced the scatter functionality, which I have tried out, and you can see the result on the screen right now. And you might say scatters, well, those are old news, they're an old thing. And you would be right, but that is not what I was looking at. What got me really interested is how fast and seamless the process was. So in this video I'll show you the full workflow of how I made this environment. Right, I'll talk about the benefits of this non-destructive scattering system and generally just highlight how fast you can be these days. It's honestly crazy to me. I feel old. Anyway, I guess let's just jump right into it. Okay, before we begin, there are two main things that I want to mention. First thing is you need to predetermine where the cameras are going to be placed. In this case, I only have one camera, this scene 1. The reason why you do that is then you know exactly where you need to put focus on high density greenery so that you don't destroy the scene. So if I were to, move even slightly away from the camera or break the camera aspect ratio and just go up a little bit, you can see that there's no greenery here whatsoever, right? If I take a look around, it breaks here. And that's because I don't need it to be there. So that's the first optimization that you do, right? You only solve for the angles that you need to solve for. And unless you're doing like a VR thing, or then it's a different kind of a rule set altogether. Second thing is the culling distance, right? So right now I'm running at 12 frames per second, which is still pretty reasonable. I can kind of work with 12 frames per second. But if you start getting hitches, you really need to reduce that range of how much, at which range do the objects start getting culled. And for that, you go to Menu, Preferences, Rendering, scroll down, Preview Cull Distance. This is for the viewport. You just change this to whatever. I think default is like 50 meters, so I'll change it to 50 meters. And you can now see that all of the greenery has been cut down to only show up 50 meters away from the camera. This is per view, right? So if I change this to like 20 meters, then only the large boys are being shown, right? And my frames have increased to 16 frames per second. Not a huge gain in terms of frames, but still, pretty measurable, especially since before we were at 12. So that's the first thing. I will keep this at 50 for now, and then I will increase it as I need to a little bit later on. Okay, so now let me just delete literally everything in the scene. Delete that. Kill. There we go. That's the scene without greenery. Doesn't look that great now, does it? Greenery, or the environment, really anchors your architecture to look natural, to look well integrated, to look good, right? If you just have this plain view, looks pretty bad. Generally speaking, by the way, all of the files and so on, I will upload it for the Patreon supporters. So if you want to get the files, as well as any other file that I do on this channel for free, then consider supporting the channel on Patreon. You'll get the Rhino files as well as the D5 files. Okay, moving on. So in in Rhino, I have geometrically separated two objects, right, in terms of the landscape. I have the immediate landscape, or rather this is like a high detailed site plan of an actual project that we were doing in the Very Good Architecture company. And this is the surrounding landscape, for just more mass, right? So these two are geometrically separated. And you can see here in D5, let's break away from that, lift up a bit. There is the seam here, and these two objects are indeed also separated in D5, right? So the first scatter that I will use is going to be a scatter around the outer geometry, around, let's go to Rhino, around this element right here, right? And it's going to be my background trees type of a scatter. Let's do it. So here in the new version of D5 2.7, I believe, you have this Add Scatter button that you can click, and then you can either add it to the whole model In this case, it would be to my whole Rhino 3D model. I don't want that. Or it can be according to the material. So I can select the material, exactly what I need. And I can just click off either this one or this one. In this case, I am dealing only with the outer one. I click on it, create scatter area, indeed, create. And it gives me this grid, right? If the grid is annoying for you, you can always here in the top left, top right, sorry, hide scatter highlights. You can click on that and it's not going to show up. But in this case, I kind of want it to show up just so that I can see what's being highlighted, right? Immediately, I will rename the scatter to the correct name that I have in my head, which is going to be background trees scatter. This just helps me, select the correct thing later down the line. Okay, and now let's create just a very, very simple scatter of the trees. I'll go to here, once this element is selected, under area, under nature, I can just click on the nature rollout. It's going to load in the nature tab for the 3D models for me. And here I can just select an object that I want. For the background trees, you don't want a high polygon count model, so I'm going to go for low resolution plants. Scroll, scroll, scroll until I see something that I could use. This one, you can see immediately gets scattered. This one and this one. I'm just clicking on them, right? So I have 3 types of trees now being scattered, and they are scattered as a grid, yes. The initial kind of the way the system works, it's grid based, but it's fine the moment we step into whatchamacallit. The moment we drop down to a human eye level, it's absolutely fine. Also, there are example files for the forests that are much more natural looking. So even when you have a grid-like distribution, the moment you start tiling them, it becomes, or layering them, sorry, it becomes absolutely fine. So that's my first scatter. Let's actually select it back in here. And for let's expand the distribution tab, because this is where I can define the density and so on. So for instance, if I increase the density from 1 to 2, they become much denser, right? In this case, for the background, I actually need to look at the scene to see. Oh, well, pretty hard to see. Maybe from this angle. All I care about is that the horizon line is hidden. So density of 2 is maybe... Oh, no. Density of 2 is too much. So maybe density of 1. Yeah, density of 1 seems to be good enough. If I go back to my scene, you can see that it's all kind of messed up. That's absolutely fine. We will fix that in just a second. For now, the background messed up by, I mean, there's trees that are occluding the view. That's fine. For now, the background tree scatter highlights, I will turn them off. And here in the lowest part of the menu, I'll go for seed and I'll just randomize the seed until I'll find something that is a little bit nicer. Actually, this is fine. I will be deleting these 2 trees and I'll be keeping these 2 in my scene. I think that's the game plan. Okay, so that's almost it. Maybe I still want to show you one more thing here to get it out of the way. So if I go up here, I can see all of the trees, right? And they're very equally spaced on the grid, right? There's no kind of division. But what I can do for the distribution, I can use like a mask, black and white color mask, to break them apart and only enable them to grow in areas where the mask is set to white. And there are, of course, presets here that we can use. So I'll be using this kind of either blurry or non-blurry zebra pattern preset. Let's do the blurry one. And you can see it breaks them apart quite nicely. And this is how you can layer things and then make them more natural looking. I will not be doing anything else with this for now. I will just keep it as it is. Let's go back to our scene, see how that changes it. It doesn't change it much. Maybe this tree is still in the way. And to get rid of this tree, all I need to do is select it, or rather, sorry, double click on it. And it's going to give me this detach object option, which I can click on done. Then you can see that this tree has become its own individual element. like so. That means I can move it around and so on. I can do whatever I want with it. I will be deleting it, right? Back to the scene. Our background tree scatter is done. Perhaps later I'll move this a little bit to the side, but for now I'm keeping it as it is. Okay, then let's create another, let's create another layer for like the main body of trees that's, you know, so that we feel like we're in this forest, right? Because these are all background trees. Right, so for the main body of trees, and I should definitely move these away, but that's gonna happen later. For the main body of trees, of course, we will be creating a second scatter, but that's going to happen, scatter, select material, that's going to happen on the inner portion of the landscape, right? This inner patch. So I'm selecting this, create scatter area, absolutely, create. Bam, we're scattering all the way here. And then we kind of reach this kind of a problem, right? Let me showcase it to you by just adding in whatever tree. Let's go for this tree right here. The problem is called, well, it grows everywhere and I can't control it, right? Because it's all area based. Don't you worry, there is a solution. Of course there is a solution for it. So under area here, right, for this new scatter, under area, actually let me hide, disable the preview of the background trees layer, so that you can focus better. Under area, here you see this little icon on the right hand side. If I click on it, there's either no divisions for the area or image-based subdivision of the whole area. So we can define sub areas. Let's go for image divide. Bam. Which basically gives us either a preset to work with or a custom area to work with. In this case, for now, let's just choose a preset. I'm just going to use the checker box because that's the easiest way for me to show you how it works. And you can see that now there are two sub areas, sub area 0 and sub area 1, because it uses that texture to divide it up. And then I could just say that, well, the trees should only grow in sub area 0 and sub area 1 should be empty. Of course, checker box does not work that well, so we need to create our custom map. How do you do that? Actually, pretty damn simple. In Rhino, we go for the top view, and we will be creating this map for this particular patch of landscape, right? So what I want from this is firstly a bounding box, right? Because I need to know exact bounds of my map. I will be deleting the bounding box, of course, shortly, but just for the print screen, so to say. And the second thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that the mapping of this element is actually planar mapping or box mapping, doesn't matter, but it's the range of it is within this bounding box. So the easiest way to do it is actually to just select it, apply planar mapping, and just keep hitting enter until it stops asking you questions in the command line, right? Then let me show you the mapping, and you can see it matches up with the bounding box. You need those to match up or else you're gonna be in trouble. Right, the alignment of the texture will not match up once you will be using UVs of the geometry. Anyway, then the command that you want is called view capture to clipboard. And here I just use resolution 1920 by 1080, but the scale of 2 to get a higher resolution image. So it's 4K. Hit OK. Now it's saved. Go to Photoshop or GIMP or whatever, doesn't matter what kind of a tool you use. Image editing tool you use, you will have this this kind of an image here with Control V. You use how's it called? Not cut, crop. Yeah, there it is. You use the crop tool, and you just kind of crop it to the correct proportion, right? So you want it to align with the bounding box here. Don't need to be very accurate, but you need to be kind of accurate about it, or else things will start misaligning drastically. Okay, something like that. Enter, you're good to go. So you have your underlying image to draw a map. What I want to do is I want to draw 3 colors on this. First color, let's say red, is going to be, I'll just use a brush with hard edge. First color that is red is going to be where the greenery should not grow. Easy. Second color, and actually let's do like a slightly lower I made a mistake. I need a new layer. Undo, 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 new layer. Do this again. Boop, 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 boop. And opacity, drop that down just to see, you know, where I'm at, something like that. Then the second layer is like medium range, where I should have my like the pretty dense greenery, but still not too dense because it would block the view too much, right? Something like this. And then the third color that I will use is going to be, let's go for purple, whatever, purple color. And the purple color is going to be extremely high density greenery, right? So all of the way here, maybe that's a mistake because the camera is in that position, but that means that here we can have a pretty dense greenery simply because the camera is in that position, something like so. And I can just fill that in. And if the camera is looking this direction, that means here it can be pretty dense. And then probably will taper off there. Okay, so something like this. And then since the camera is looking from the point where I'm holding my mouse towards the building, I don't really need any greenery here. Maybe it can reach here, but definitely not here. So I'm going to use the red color to just fill this all in. Okay, slowly. Okay, there we go. And then fill this in. And we should be good to go. Of course, don't forget to, you know, really kind of get all of those gaps in there, because if you don't get the gaps in there, then a new channel will be made for those gaps, the white color channel, right? So you only want 3 colors for your channel, red, green, and purple, no white. So let's go for a brush that is a little bit smaller. I always misclick B and this little keyboard button, and I'm just going to pop, you know, kind of add in a few things here, and that should be it. That should be, we should be good to go with this setup. Don't forget opacity 100%. We save it. Control Shift S. Nope. Yes. On your computer. D5 scatter. That's my folder. That's perfect. JPEG, and I'll just call this scatter or area distribution. Save that. Okay. Now back in D5, if I go to custom here under area of our new scatter, if I go to custom, then I have an ability to add in a picture. So I click on it and I choose my area distribution JPEG image. Click that. Automatically it's going to generate 3 sub areas because it recognizes the 3 colors, and instead of using fit, we should use UV, right? Because it needs to be stretched according to the UVs of the geometry. And if we did everything correctly, now my sub area 0 is here, sub area 1 is here, and sub area 2 is here. So this is going to be my no grow area, and I'm just gonna call this, this one far, and this one is going to be mid. It just helps me mentally, you know, with what I'm doing and what I'm looking for. So as I said, no grow area, nothing will grow in it. The mid area is going to be medium density, and far area will have extreme density, right? So here we will have the most amount of trees. Okay, so that means let's add some trees. So if I go to, let's start with the mid area here. Let me go to nature, and I want birch trees, and oh no, I forgot how they're called. They're not called birch trees in here, or are they? Birch. No, they are not. Okay. Latin name, birch. Latin. I'm just Googling birch Latin names. Betula. Right. Betula. Enter. Scroll. Or Betula pendula. Rof. Yeah. all of these. I want these. And for the lower density area, I don't want twin trunk objects. I only want smaller, single trunk, thinner objects. So for instance, Betula utilis. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm going to download this. While it's downloading, I'm just going to throw in 08, 02, 01 seems nice, but I'll wait for this one to download or not. What the hell? 1%. Okay, we're not waiting. So I'm just going to throw in the 01. That's fine. 2%. I don't know what's going on. Probably something with me recording or something like that. Anyway, for now that's fine. I will pin this, or actually I don't need to. I'll close that. Sorry, let me just grab a drink. And now you can see, you know, the distribution of the trees right here. And of course they are way too dense. So let's fix that. If I go to the distribution tab, here, don't forget, you can still change the preset for the distribution. And I'm going to use the zebra pattern again, which carves out a few trees here and there. That's perfect for me. And also for the density, I want it to be like, I would say like 4 times less dense. So density of 1. Why is that in a line? Is that because it's fitted? Let's try stretching. Fitted. Different pattern. That's interesting. Okay, sure, whatever. I actually need to look at it in the scene 1 to see if it's... No, it's not bad. And then in scene 1, I can just play with the seed until I get a result that I want. Or maybe it's the cluster, sorry, not the cluster, but the collision volume, which is set to 120%. I think I would need to change this to like 80% for them to stop colliding with each other, and that will work. Let's try that. Doesn't seem like it's doing much. Also, oh, let's try that, and then new seed. That's kind of fine. Okay, that works. That works. And then playing around with the seed will figure something out with this. Okay, moving on. So those trees, like medium density trees, have been placed. And now for the let's jump right back up. Disable the background trees here. For the high density area, we do exactly the same thing. We go for far. Here, add the assets in, and for this I will be adding all of the assets. So this. That is still downloading. I have no idea why, but yeah, all of the Betula assets. Always try to keep the species of the trees kind of consistent, you know. So don't start matching up, you know, palm trees and broadleaf trees, unless you know what you're doing, right? Okay, so something like this. And I think for this, I don't really need to do much more because it does need to be quite dense. And the density seems to be okay with me, or to me. Yeah, that seems to be quite nice. I don't like this anymore, so I'm going to kill it. So I double click on this tree, hit done for dispatching it. And actually, instead of killing it, I might just move it back somewhere there. And then the same thing for this one. Let's just look at it. It's not that bad, but it's like too much in the front, so I'm just going to move it back here. Okay. So a few adjustments with those two. Then for this particular, come on, scatter 1, the mid range, I will just change the seed a little bit. Yeah, it's always gets added in here due to the distribution image, which is fine. We might not really want to, oops, that's back to 1. We might not really want to change much. We could add blur to the distribution pattern, but in this case, I will just simply take this tree. I'm trying to double click on it. There we go, detach it and move it to where I want it to be placed. Well, not rotate, move. There we go. I think it could be here. I think it would look nice here. Yeah, something like that. Okay. So that's that. That's our secondary scatter. Rename, or not secondary, but main, I guess, birch scatter. Okay, then we kind of moved things around. And then I really want to add even more trees in here, but I want them to be in front of the house, but I don't want them to obstruct the camera. So we're going to do a really quick change here. Not change, what's the word? Quick scatter here with select material, create a scatter, and I'm just going to add, if I remember correctly, under broadleaf, we do have all of these. Oh yeah, I need to stop searching for them. For betula trees, I'm just going to really quickly kind of go through this and try to find really thin, like this, really thin broadleaf trees, right? And what I want is, maybe there's even thinner ones. It's still downloading, by the way. I have no idea why. There's a lot, right? So just bear with me for a second. This takes the longest time, right? Finding the correct ones. It was called just broadleaf, right? Something like this. No, that just gives me, oh, this one seems good. Like that. Yeah, perfect. Like that. These thin boys right here. And these two as well. Give me. That seems to be quite small, but that should do the trick. Okay. Perfect. That's what I wanted. And I made a boo-boo. Because right now I'm adding in them in area where I really don't care about them as much, right? I only care about them in the immediate vicinity as well as the close range to the house. I want them there as well. So I need to fix this. So I'll go to scatter area, here, image divide. I'll use the same custom distribution texture, right, that I used before. And it shouldn't be fit, it should be UV stretched. Okay, and then for the closest area for this, I will actually be using, oh no, now I can't find them anymore. Oh, I can. I'll be using the smallest trees that I have that are also thin. So this is pretty small. That's kind of crooked, but kind of nice. Or I could use really tall ones that don't intersect. I'm scared that the tree will intersect with the geometry, right? So I might just use this type of a tree and this type of a tree, like two types, perhaps this. Now, see, those are too wide, so they have the potential to intersect with the building, and for that I would need a separate texture. So the 42, this guy needs to go, so I can just remove it from here, like so. Okay. Then for distribution, I will just change the density of them. I'll just use 1, density of 1. And I won't even use any texture for this. This seems to be just fine. We will be playing around with the seed slider in just a second, but this seems to be okay. And then for the, I will not be adding anything there, but here I want to add in, gimme. I want to add in, honestly, like this seems fine, this seems fine. I'll just add all of them because that needs to be a pretty high density area, and also the obstruction of the camera is not that prevalent. with the trunks that thin. And of course the distribution, I need to change this. They shouldn't be, it shouldn't be that many of them. So I'll change this to like 1 or something. And there are a few weird ones. Let's see which ones are weird. The 42 seems to be out of place, as well as maybe 52. For now, 42, I want to actually get rid of that. No more of those. Seems to be okay. And then once this is done, let's take a look at it in the scene, right? That's right in the middle. I don't, maybe that's not bad that it's in the middle, but I kind of want a different tree to be there. Ooh, that's not bad. That's bad. That's not bad. Yeah, let's work with this. This we can work with. Okay, so you can see I just play around with the seed. Then we have our last hurrah to make this all come together, the ground coverage. Up until now, we were working with the foliage, and we were starting with the big trees, smaller, thinner, smaller, and now we reach the base level where we have the bushes and the grass and so on, right? And for the bushes and the grass and so on, we actually need templates to create that. I want to show off templates because those are also super useful and super aesthetic. It works really well. So I need another scatter. This one I need to rename to thin trunk scatter. And then let's make another one. And in this case, I will keep the camera angle correct. And I will just yoink, select material as per usual. Oh, come on, gimme. Really? That? Click. There we go. Great. Create a scatter for this, and I will be dividing it up because I want immediate surroundings to the building to be like a lawn that is kind of maintained. Then further away from the building, I want pretty wild grass, and even further away, I want pretty tall grass, right? So we will be using an image divide for this, right? And I'll just choose, oh, that's preset. I will choose a custom image divide for this. There we go. Come on. And of course it needs to be UVs as per usual. And we have our further away, middle, immediate, right? So for my immediate sub area, I'll go to nature. Oh, actually, no, I said that we will be using pre-made content for this. So I'll go to here, next to content, you have content presets. So for sub area 2, bam, click on that, stop searching for broadleaf. And here I have my options, right? So a little bit limited, but this is at early stages of development. So I'm sure that there are going to be more options in this library. And I'll just use lawn, either one of these, honestly. I don't want to use this. This is too calm. Or maybe I should. No, let's just use the first one, right? Asks me to update a cluster. That's fine. Hit done. Close that. We're good to go. It doesn't show up, by the way. It doesn't show up because my plane clipping is off, right? So for it to actually show up, I would need to actually travel there, and see. And now my camera blurring is messing it up, but you can see it's really good quality. Looks really nice. And I will change the camera clipping in just a second, but for now, we're at this trust me bro stage. Then okay, so this is our area for immediate surroundings. Then let's enable this. This is going to be our area for median surroundings. So as I said, wild grass, but not too tall. I'll use exactly the same procedure. Close that. Why can't I? It's a little bit different, so I'm scared. Will this break? Probably not. Okay. I don't know why it shows differently. Like it Doesn't matter. I will be using wild grassland for this median, right? And you can see it shows up, but it doesn't show up all the way. So this is where I start kind of adjusting things. Menu, preferences, and preview call distance. I know that my house is 100 meters from the camera from testing, so I'm just going to use 100 meters. Let's use 120 so that it covers a little bit more. And now you can see, that the wild grass that has been created. Beautiful. Now it's my turn to move here, and we will make adjustments to this area. So that's the last one. Presets. Near water bushwood. Beautiful. Now we have our high grass here. Should I become smaller? Now, with this done, all you need to do is just make some final minor adjustments, which I honestly don't really want to do. I think this looks kind of good the way it does. But the double click on an asset, move it. If you want to add some rock or something, you add the rock and so on. But honestly, looks pretty good to me. I would kind of save this and then start making videos from this. So that's it. We're done, right? I have shown you the full process of how to achieve the result that I was showing at the start of the video. The benefit of this kind of workflow versus brushing is because everything is still accessible through the scatter, and you can make minor adjustments as well as change and replace elements or entities inside of the scatter. So this is a flexible system, right? And it being a flexible system, you can make presets out of it. You can use it in other projects. So once you do it once, the next time you do it is even faster and faster and faster, right? I am a little bit scared of how fast this thing is going, and how fast these kind of preset, very easy to do systems are, how fast they make us as architects in preparing these visuals. There doesn't seem to be a lot of time to contemplate. It's mostly do work. But at the same time, I can see a huge appeal to this, because now I can create an environment in whatever was it, 30 minutes or something like that. And before, this kind of environment would take me a full workday to achieve. Then suddenly, 7.5 hours can be spent on me working with the house, with a 3D model of the house, making it better, working on architecture. So I see huge value in increase in production speed. I'm just scared that templates tend to make all of the representation, all of the renders look quite the same, and humans are inherently lazy and we will just kind of keep using those templates. And I guess then you just make a conscious decision to stand out and not use a template, and then you actually are able to stand out. So maybe it is a self-balancing system. What do you think? Leave a comment. All files available for Patreon supporters, and I'll see you in the next one.